This video will cover a very important topic of English, that is subject-verb agreement. Now subject-verb agreement is very important for the formation of correct sentence, because if this topic is clear to every student, then there are very less chances of formation of a wrong sentence. So this is one of those topics which are very important, and they are the building block of English, be it written or be it while communicating with other people. And in subject verb agreement specifically, we will be focusing of the usage of modals in subject verb agreement. Now subject verb agreement basically means that a subject should agree with the verb in the sentence, which means that if there is a singular subject, then the verb used should also be singular, and if there is a plural subject, then the verb used should also be plural. But again, to every rule there is some kind of exception, and that is the exception which we will be studying today in this video, and that is the usage of modals in subject verb agreement. Because be it the modal used with a singular subject or the plural subject, the formation, or I can say the structure of modal, will not change. So before moving ahead in this topic, let us first discuss what are modals. Now modals are basically the verbs. They are referred to as auxiliary verbs, which shows some kind of permission, request, obligation, responsibilities, or duties, or some ability. So there are different type of modals, and each modal has its own significance and it has its own meaning. So now let us understand the definition of modals. We need to understand that modals are basically the auxiliary verbs, and these modal verbs are followed by another verb, which is the base verb. So I say that the structure of modals is like subject followed by the modal verb and followed by another verb, which is a base. This is the basic structure of a modal verb, and examples of modals can be can, could, shall, will, should, might. These are some of the examples of modals, and in subject verb agreement we will see that how the structure of the modal will remain the same, how these words will remain the same, and they will not change their form in singular form as well as in plural form. So another important point to remember is that whenever we are making use of modal verb in a third person, modals plus third person. So now in this case, again there are some points to remember, that whenever we are talking about present tense, there will be no s over there after the word, and whenever we are talking about past tense, it will not be followed by ed, which means that there is no word such as shoulds, and there is no word such as mighted. There are no such words in modals. Also, when we are talking about third person, now suppose I say I play, you play, and she plays, right? This is what I am trying to explain you, that with present tense for third person we say s, right? But when we are making use of modals over here, I say I can play, you can play, and if I say she can play, then my sentence over here will be wrong, because there is no such word. The modals will not change their form in subject verb agreement. Their form will remain as it is. This is what I'm trying to explain you over here. So now we are going to understand the usage of modal in subject verb agreement using more examples and by implementing them in sentences. So now let us understand through some examples. The first example can be Mohan could pack his lunch before leaving for airport. Now here when I say Mohan could pack his lunch before going to airport or before leaving for airport, here again could is wrongly used over here, because as I've said that the modals will not change their form, they will remain as it is no matter what the formation of the sentence is, no matter what the structure of the sentence is, whether my sentence is in past form, present form, future, whatever, but the formation or the structure of the modals will remain the same. So here could is not used. I will just say Mohan could pack his lunch before leaving for airport, and that will be the correct form of my sentence without any mistake. Second example can be Priya shells not reach on time. Priya shalls not reach on time. Again, shalls is no word. Why? Because the actual modal is shall, and the modals always remain in their actual form. They will not change their form in any of the sentences. So these are the two examples of modals which will not change the sentence. Now we are going to discuss some exceptions in modals. There is not much of the exception, but here we are going to understand the modal ought and used. Whenever we are making use of the modal ought and used, always remember that they are always used with infinitive, and that infinitive is to. Ought and used are always used with to. Ought to, used to. Whenever these two are used as modals, yes, used, if not used as a modal, I can say that I used your perfume yesterday, I used your room yesterday. That is a different case. In that case, use is a verb and it is not a modal. But whenever used is used with to, then used becomes a modal over there, and whenever used is used as a modal, it will always follow to, which is an infinitive. So let us understand this through implementing them in our sentences. First example over here can be I used to live in Delhi when I was young. So here I used to live in Delhi is a modal that I am talking about, and with used we will always use to in with a modal. So this is another usage of modal in verb and subject verb agreement, which has to be remembered because this is again an exception. Then the fourth example can be, suppose I make a sentence with ought, and whenever I am making a sentence with ought, always remember that with ought again I will be using to over there. So here the example can be, ought over here always will be used for showing some kind of responsibility or for some kind of advice. Whenever we are showing some kind of responsibility or advice, we make use of ought. So I will over here say that I ought to protect my country. So here I say that it is my responsibility to protect my country. I ought to protect my country. So here in these two sentences, I think it is clear that whenever we are making use of use and ought as a modal, in that case it will always follow to, and to over here acts as an infinitive. And in this particular video we have understood and we've discussed the concept of modals in subject verb agreement, and after the discussion we have come to a point and we have realized that modals will not change their form no matter what. The modals will remain as it is in subject verb agreement. Now this was just a discussion where I have explained you the entire points, the entire rules for making use of modals. The rest, now it is up to you whether you have to practice or not, and I suggest you to practice these type of questions in order to understand the usage of modals in a sentence. And to practice, you can register to our online portal, that is www.abhyasonline.in. Once you register to this portal, you will be provided with sample papers and exercises regarding the topic of subject verb agreement. So do attempt those questions, because those questions will help you gain good marks in exams. Because the more you practice, the better your concepts will be and more marks will be gained in exams. So keep learning and keep practicing, and do register to our website.